Welcome to the Roar of Judah. Our mission is to hear God's voice above the noise of this world. And now, here's your host, Dr. Mike.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Roar of Judah. I'm your host, Mike, and I have a great guest with me here today. And it makes me think of Psalms 34:18, which tells us that the Lord is close to the brokenhearted. And, we all have stories that of success and great things in our lives. And a lot of us also have stories of tragedy and pain that we've dealt with. And as I was talking with our guest before we started recording, just how much of an encouragement that can be when others are willing to open up and share a little bit about their lives and their stories. And one of the things that I do on this show, when I meet people and when I schedule them, like I love hearing the stories from the very first time along with you. So, I have no idea exactly what he's going to share, what he's going to talk about, and just love hearing it for the very first time with all of you. So without further ado, our guest for today, please help me welcome Matt Wilmoth. So welcome, Matt.
Hi, Mike. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, we're definitely excited to hear from you and the story that God's put on your heart to share. But before we get into the story, all our guests, anything you want to share about your family, where you live, what you do for work, anything
Sure.
you want to share with our guests.
So, Matt Wilmoth, Almighty Wings Productions. My wife and I started our production company in 2021. We're based in Knoxville, Tennessee, and we focus on high quality, faith-based, and family-friendly content. I've been a video editor for 30 years in the industry. And I've been fortunate to have shows that have aired on 20 plus major networks, including HGTV and Food Network, History Channel, Travel Channel, and such.
It sounds like God's given you some pretty unique talents. And it's awesome that you can use it to build up his kingdom and his glory as well. And we'll definitely get into, ways people can use you and your skills and talents. God's got you. But before we do that, we kind of transition into story time. And would love to hear a little bit about your background and what God's brought you through. So I'll turn it over to you.
Well, I haven't always been an active Christian, I'd say. I grew up in the church. Dad was a pastor, and then I hit college and I went sideways for 20 years and was a professional alcoholic, I tell people, a professional drug user. I met my wife in 2011. We were still wayward, and in 2018, she was raped by a family friend. And so this is someone that we knew. He was at our wedding. He had thrown me a bachelor party, and it was someone that we knew, and that tragedy happened to us. And I tell people that because God used that tragedy to transform our lives and put us in a better spot. We started reading the Bible together. We started praying together. We went to counseling. And I never wanted to go to counseling. I've never, ever thought about it. It wasn't high on my list. But it was one of the best things we did because it allowed us to talk about the tragedy and to come together. And frankly, I wouldn't be able to talk about it now if we hadn't gone through that and we hadn't looked to God for guidance. So we... about 2019, and I tell you all this because it leads to our ministry and what we're doing. So we were still wayward. We were reading scripture, and in 2019, I was so eat up with rage. I've never been suicidal, but I had planned on taking his life and then mine. I knew where he lived. I knew where he worked or where his patterns were. And I was so eat up with rage. And my wife used to do tarot card readings at one time. And so there was a Friday night, I remember I came home and I was just angry. And she decided to do a tarot reading of what was in my heart. And for the first time in my life, I saw Satan. She flipped over the devil card and it showed the devil in my heart. And I wept, right? I prayed to God and I asked God to remove Satan from my heart because I didn't want him there. Only Christ was supposed to be there. And I asked God to do that, and he started opening our eyes to the satanic influence that had creeped into Hollywood and major networks. Again, I've been an editor for 30 years. All this time I'm working for major networks. I'm cutting shows, and God's starting to open our eyes. It all kind of came to head in 2000. During COVID, I was working from home, and I had a contract with a major network, and they had me working on a show that dealt with conjuring demons. And this is a reality television show. They're going around the country in each episode, they're conjuring demons, they're doing seances, they're bringing dead people out on screen, and they're doing these rituals all dressed in garb and such. And I am having such a hard time with it because I just rededicated my life to God. I knew that wasn't what I was supposed to work on. And I think I prayed myself out of work, frankly. We had a year agreement. They called right in the middle of it because I'm praying, God, I don't want to use the talents you've blessed me with to edit this content. So they called right in the middle and said, hey, we ran out of work. And this is 6 months in. And because it was during COVID, we couldn't find anyone to tie their shoes. Nobody was looking for work. And so we were at the crossroads at that point of, do we get out of the industry? I had 25 years at the time or so in post-production or an editor. And do we get out of the industry and we go sell cars or homes or do something else? Or do we go further in? And we just kept talking to families and friends that were fed up with what Hollywood was producing. They were fed up with what major networks were producing, and they wanted stuff that they could watch with their family. Not always overtly Christian, but good, right? Just not bad. And so we founded our company in 2021 with the mission to be salt and light in the world of visual entertainment. Quick nutshell.
And you know, as you think about your time in Christian editing, is there a certain show or episode that sticks out in your mind that has been encouraging to you?
We've had all kinds of blessings since that transition. I've been a sole proprietor for a lot of that. This year, my wife and I decided to establish our LLC and really become partners in the business. But since establishing it, we've been blessed to work on a show called Transformed. It was a biblical counseling show, which I had no idea that you could get certified in biblical counseling. And I loved it. That was an amazing show to be part of. We were fortunate to edit a show called RVL Discipleship for Focus on the Family for Groder's Productions out of Holland, Michigan. And that was a blessing. Recently, I was editing a show and it's amazing. I pick up so much information working on these shows. I love the ones where it feeds me as much as I feel like it's going to feed the audience. And one of the quotes that came out of this most recent one, I love because this minister, she on her desk as a post-it note, she had this saying, and it said, "Attempt something so impossible that without God it is destined to fail." And I love that. And I say that to people often because it reminds me of I can do all things through Christ Jesus who strengthens me. And I feel like that encompasses so much of what we're trying to do with our business, with our original series that we have, as well as working with others. I feel like it's attempt something so impossible that without God it's destined to fail.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, one of the things that I spent time as an outreach pastor, and you know, so many times I would hear things like almost like a fear of going back into the church. You know, it's not that people necessarily abandoned God and left God, but it was like we were so involved in the church and I left and it would just be awkward to come back. And I'm guessing with you being a pastor's kid, what was it like, or how did you get the courage to walk in the church again for the first time?
It wasn't quite as like that for me, and the reason is when my wife Susan did that tarot reading, I believe that God opened my eyes, and so what we started seeing, and I felt like I had been asleep for 20 years. Like I literally had stuck my head in the sand for 20 years, and I had been so self-absorbed I wasn't paying attention. But it was one of those moments where God just slapped me and said, "Hey, wake up." And I just started seeing the influence that had happened, and I was, it's hard to say I was ashamed, but I prayed and asked forgiveness for the time that I had wasted not using that for the Lord, right? And so it was more of a fire in my stomach that I can't waste any more time of my life. I've got to go forward with this, and I've got to go full motion, right? All in. And so when we created the website, we immediately put scripture and the American flag on the very top. When you go to our website, that's the first thing you're going to see, because I want people to know who we are up front. And if you don't want to work with us, that's okay, because we don't have to waste our time with you. But if you want to work with us, we're transparent that way, and we're saying, hey, we're Christian. We want to produce high quality content, and that's the other thing. There's a lot of Christian content out there, from film to TV to movies, but it's not always the best quality. And I think at some point it starts to do a disservice to the message. And so our goal is to produce high quality content, the stuff that you would see on the major networks, the stuff that you would see coming out of the major Hollywood outlets. So that's part of that mission is to make sure it's quality. Again, some of the stuff we're working on is overtly Christian, for Christians, and then a lot of it is family friendly with seeds of truths, because our goal is to be witnesses to others through our works.
Awesome. And one thing that kind of just popped in my mind as you were telling your story, there's so many parents out there that their kids have not gone in the direction that they were raised and what they had prayed for and hoped for. Yeah. And I've seen so many of those parents, some of them continue to love their children in the middle of their sins and addictions and running from God. Some of them kind of push them away. But the one thing that's common between all of them is that they continue to pray for their kids to come back. Yeah. And now here I know there's going to be people watching this that they're thinking, that's my kid. Like, they've kind of wandered away and they're far from the truth, and you've come back. How did your parents deal with that or handle that when you walked away from the church?
They had a problem with it. My parents got a divorce when I was in high school, which I think for me it added to a little bit of that me wanting to separate. The other thing, in thinking back about it, as a preacher's kid, I felt like I was always on display. That whether I did something right or wrong, all the eyes were always on me in the church, and sometimes they were and sometimes they weren't. But I did feel sometimes that pressure of being on display. And I believe that when I went to college, I just was like, okay, I'm out. I'm just done for a while. I pray that not everyone has to go through the same traumas and tragedies that we went through. But I feel like God woke us up in the industry that we were in for a purpose. And we feel so strongly about that we've got 32 acres or nearly 32 acres of land for sale in Tennessee, and we've listed 25 acres of that because we want to free up our debt. We want to free up everything that's holding us down so that we can continue on this mission to serve the Lord through our work.
And one things that as a counselor and things that I've heard in people's stories, sometimes the change is like a light switch. They go from one lifestyle to another. Sometimes it's more like a dimmer switch. And I know you kind of mentioned a little bit of things with some drug use and different things. Like for you, was it, God got you out of it all like a light switch? You went from had drugs one day and then it just disappeared, or was it a longer process than that for you?
It was in phases. I gave up alcohol first, and tobacco. I was a tobacco smoker for about the same time, and I actually went in with the idea that I was going to quit smoking tobacco, and because when I smoked tobacco, I drank, or when I drank, I smoked tobacco. I felt like they were two hand in hand. So that was the first time I actually sat down and I prayed to God to take the craving of tobacco away from me. And that was the first time I had prayed a prayer like that, where I just completely broke down and said, God, I don't want this anymore. Take it from me. And later, that prepped me for that other prayer, which is the second time I've done that. God, I don't want this rage anymore. Take that rage from me. When I was talking about Season and what had happened to her, and God took it away. It was quite amazing. The other thing I like to mention, when God opened our eyes to what had happened in Hollywood and these networks, we cleansed our home for the first time. And then we turned around and we purged our home. So we've purged our home 4 times now. And the first time we went through and we got rid of books and movies and CDs and DVDs and anything that we felt like was satanic in nature or not glorifying God. But that first time you're leaving stuff behind because you're still emotionally attached to it. And then a few months later, God was like, hey, you need to do this again. So we went back through and we purged everything again. It wasn't until the 4th time that we had purged our home and we had read nearly, half or more of the Bible together that God blessed us with our first kids. We had not been able to have kids before then. And now we have 2 wonderful, wonderful kids since then. But I felt like God was prepping us. He wanted us to get our soul right. He wanted us to get our home in the right place before he blessed us with kids.
And one of the things, at one point, like I used to do counseling in the church, and I loved that I had, like it was a big church, and I always had people who had been through drug issues or who had been through divorce, and then like that relationship reconciled, and God brought them back together, and people who had lost children, and people who had gone through different types of abuse that a lot of times that were just there wanting to share their story and provide hope and comfort for others. And the tragedy you and your wife went through, like, has God been able to use that for you guys to help others?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And again, just going through counseling, including God in our marriage and making him the center of our marriage. I mean, we still read daily in the mornings after breakfast. We read with our 2 kids. Being able to tell people that if you're going through something like that, don't give up. Drop on your knees and pray together. Ask God to help. And to open the lines of communication, to mend those hurts. And I would recommend counseling. And again, 30 years ago or 20 years ago, I would not have recommended counseling, but I sure would, because that helped. And it was a Christian counselor, which also helped, because we wanted that to be a focus in our lives. And we talk about it to people. And going back to your drug problem or issue, that was a gradual step. So tobacco, alcohol happened right away. Marijuana took a lot longer to overcome. But God delivered me from that. He delivered me from my porn addiction, from the alcohol, from the pot, from the tobacco. The only thing I've got left is coffee, and I really like coffee, so I don't want to pray about it right now.
And one of the things, like in marriage counseling, that I do, and I like when you said that you and your wife pray every day together. And there's a statistic from the Barna Group out there that says couples who regularly pray together have less than a 2% chance of divorce. Unfortunately, even Christian couples are still at like the 50% mark. Sure. But when you can start that habit of regularly praying together, now people who are on the verge of divorce, most likely they're not praying together every day. But if you can get into a habit and start doing it, and that's the very first thing that I encourage couples to start doing. And some of them are very uncomfortable praying together, and I don't even care if it starts out with just 5 seconds a day. Just start that habit, get into that routine. And that seems to be like one of the big things that I've seen help couples tremendously. And as you've gone through the process yourself, is there any other tips or encouragement for people who may be struggling in their own marriage? Like, knowing that praying has helped us, is there anything else that really sticks out that, wow, this like really opened our eyes and has helped us a lot?
Talk about it. Talk it through. It's difficult. And like you mentioned, even praying together, the first few times are going to be awkward, but don't give up on it. Continue praying, and praying through that. I definitely think is a big part of what saved our marriage. The other thing is, in fact, this morning I was praying for a hedge of protection around my family. We've got friends who have gone through divorce, and praying for them. And I'm like, God, protect my family. This is my second marriage. I don't want to get married again. I don't want to mess up anymore, right? I made some stupid mistakes, and a lot of that was, I feel, alcohol and such related, but I don't want to mess up anymore. And so often I'm praying, God, I want to be a good servant. I want to be a good husband, and I want to be a good father.
And your ministry, Almighty Wing Productions, is this, do you work with small content creators, or are you mostly working with like bigger networks?
All the above. And so we are the bulk of my experience is post-production. So a lot of times we have clients that will shoot with their client, who ends up being, let's say, an influencer or a celebrity. They'll shoot with that person for 2 to 3 days. They'll have a few cameras, and they'll just send us the footage, and without a script or without an outline, and we'll sit in the edit suite for hours and weeks and months, and we'll create a hour-long show. We've got churches that we've worked with. We've got individuals that just want to create love projects that we've worked with, and then of course major outlets we're working with them too. So if you've got post-production needs or production needs, we would love to talk to you. Faith-based. I'm praying often, God, send us your faith-based work, because we want to make a difference. And again, we've got a handful of original series that we're working on. We're really excited about. Our 3 flagship projects, I like to call them. One is a Christian sci-fi series. My wife is working on the first novel right now, and it is incredible. I'm really excited about it. We've got a video game. The video game is everything we have in our original content is television or film based or movie based, except for our video game, and it's a biblical game. It's got fun aspects as well as some educational aspects, and we were blessed to get Kevin and Sam Sorbo, actor Kevin and Sam Sorbo, on board, and they're voiceovering our 2 main characters in the game, and we're about ready to go into funding for that, so you can learn more on our website, which we'll talk about in a minute. And then the third one is a animated series for kids. We specifically designed it so that it's special needs friendly, including autistic kids. So we're hoping to produce an autistic friendly animated series, which we're passionate about as well.
Yeah, that's really cool. And just real quick, backing up, like how did you get into editing, or what's your background like?
I went to school for it. I went to Lincoln Memorial University, which is a small school in Tennessee, and I actually started in high school in the television program, and then when I went to college, I was fortunate because it was a small school. As a freshman, I jumped right in and was able to become a news director right away. I got into the industry, news industry first. I worked in the Tri-Cities and then Knoxville for a CBS affiliate. That's when I became a Tennessee Vols fan, because I was blessed to be on the sidelines when Philip Fulmer and Peyton Manning were when Peyton was on the field, and so immediately I became a Tennessee fan, and have been ever since. And about 2002-ish, I transitioned into series television. Many people don't know that Knoxville produces more series television than most other places in the country. And a lot of that's credited to Scripps Network, who moved here in the 90s, and they owned HGTV and Food Network and Travel Channel, Do It Yourself Network, if you remember that, the DIY network back in the day. So they moved here in the 90s-ish. Pre-COVID, Discovery bought them out. During COVID, Warner Brothers and Discovery merged, and then they took off and took their headquarters out of Knoxville. But what they left is a huge television production community here in Knoxville. So a lot of the people that we outsource to are industry professionals that have years of experience on major networks. Unfortunately, right now, Knoxville is known for producing true crime, We produce more murder content, I like to call it, than really anywhere else in the country. I've had to do it in the past, but it doesn't resonate with me. It gives me nightmares, to be frank. And so a few years ago, I was like, I'm not doing murder anymore, just not. Which is hard to do when you need the work, right? We've had a few of those calls where, hey, we need an editor. Hey, we're going to pay you top dollar. And then when you get down to talking about the content, they show it to you, and it's one of those things where I don't really even have to pray about it anymore. I do, but it's like, I can't do that. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not willing to sell my soul for that. And so part of our mission, and we actually created a networking group earlier, or last year, I guess. And part of that mission is to help Knoxville be known for producing something other than true crime. We want to be able to produce Christian content, and we want to do it on such a large scale that it helps Knoxville do an about face.
And then when people's ready to elevate their content to the next level and want to get a hold of Almighty Wing Productions,
yeah,
how can they find you, and how can they start that conversation?
Yeah, absolutely. And I've worked with, so many different formats and producers and people over the years. It doesn't have to be super polished. We can take something that is not polished and make it look like it is polished. Working in the news industry did that for me. It's one of those things that they just send you. They throw you whatever you got, and you got to make it work, type of thing. So we are online at almightywingsproductions.com. You can go to our website. On there, if you're interested in some of our original series, there's a place where you can go and sign an NDA and learn more about that, because we're actively moving into funding for some of those. We've got a blog there. We also have a link to our Seeking group. The Seeking group is the networking group that we created on Facebook for Tennessee, specifically Knoxville, but we've branched out. We've got some people from Canada that are on there now, and it's a creators network. Season and I, especially after COVID, we were having a hard time meeting other Christians in the industry, and we felt like we were on an island by ourselves. And because of that, we went to Facebook and we went to LinkedIn and these other outlets, and we were looking for networking groups that were Christian entertainers. And we didn't find really any that matched what we were looking for, so we started one. And we're bringing together entertaining professionals that are Christian, that are radio personalities and podcasters and movie and film producers and editors and you name it. If you are a Christian and you are in the entertainment industry, we're bringing people together to collaborate, to support one another, because again, our goal is to make content that glorifies God, and to with Knoxville at least to get us known for something other than true crime. So yeah, you can go to the website, almightywingsproductions.com. We've got a contact information there. Just send us an email, and I'd love to talk with you. We're looking to boost our post-production side of the business. We do offer production as well. So if you don't even have to have everything shot, if you've got a concept, if you've got funding you don't know what to do with, holler, because we can help you spend it. Again, our goal is to produce high quality, family friendly, and faith-based content. God has put us on a mission, and we feel we can play a part. I'd like to pray, God, I would be honored to be one of your warriors in your army. I want to be a cog in your big machine and to help.
And thank you so much for coming on today and sharing about your ministry, sharing your story, and helping build up the kingdom as well.
Well, I appreciate you, Mike. Thank you so much, and I love what you're doing. Please keep up your kingdom work.
Thanks so much for watching this episode of the Roar of Judah Show with Dr. Mike. I hope you were inspired and encouraged to grow in your own faith. Please follow us online. We're on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, your favorite podcast platform, all under Roar of Judah Show. Also, we'd love to hear from our viewers. Leave a comment. If you want to email us, we're roarofjudahshow@gmail.com. You can also visit us online. The website is www.roarofjudahshow.com. On there's a link to our online store. I'm a licensed professional counselor. I specialize in anxiety treatment. You can find my Freedom from Anxiety video program that's already helped thousands of people. Also, I have a 90-day Freedom from Anxiety devotional book. We also have all kinds of merchandise to help you share your faith, and I hope you'll check that out. We also believe that we all have a story that declares God's glory. If you'd like to be a guest on this show, we'd love to have you. On the website, towards the bottom, there's a little form that you can fill out, and we would love to hear your story. So may the Lord bless you, may the Lord keep you, may his face shine upon you as you let your light shine, so others would see your good deeds and worship your Father in heaven. This is Dr. Mike signing off. Until next time.